Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan from Boredom Stated, and here is the rest of our Boredom Stated crew. And as per usual, recently at least, we are doing once again our opinion on most overpowered spells at each individual level. Today, we are going to be talking about 6th level spells, and I gotta say, a little disappointing. But
Yep.
we will go through and talk about the spells that we think are still overpowered for what they are. And I will, as per usual, start. And I'm going to start with a spell called Windwalk. Windwalk is a druid-only spell, and there's a reason why it's a druid-only spell, and that's because it is a very strong transportation spell. Casting time 1 minute, range of 30. You and up to 10 willing creatures you can see within the 30-foot range. Assume a gaseous form for the duration. Duration is 8 hours, by the way. While in this you become clouds. While in this cloud form, a creature has a flying speed of 300 feet and has a resistance to damage from non-magical weapons. Now, the main reason why you would do this basically is you're 6th level, you're not 7th level, which means you do not have a full teleportation ability. You have 8 hours of travel, which is usually how long parties end up doing their full travel anyway. You go 300 feet per second per round instead of 30 feet per round. Or on the Mighty Horses, you go 50 feet per round. So you're traveling at 6 times normal speed as a cloud, which is pretty cool. So you can go much, much further than you normally would be able to by using this spell. Now, also, by being a cloud, you can use that as a stealth mechanism to get in somewhere really quick, then find a nice place to hide, come out of cloud form, because reverting does take a minute. So it works for siege purposes. It works for being hiding. You can just, hide in the sky for a while, because it lasts for 8 hours. So it has multiple reasons to be used other than just as good transportation method. Because remember, one of the things they really wanted to do was slow down everyone's transportation, and this is one of the things that gets around it. When you think about spells being overpowered, you have to realize that what classes get them is a huge deal. Because sometimes the spells are only overpowered because only a few people get them, and if anybody else got them, it'd be really bad.
So I'll go per usual next. So the spell I selected was Mass Suggestion. It's a wisdom save, so not too many people are going to have wisdom. It affects 12 up to 12 creatures. It lasts 24 hours. And if you fail the saving throw, you have to take an action, related to, whatever I make suggestion. I always walk to the next mountain range, literally gets rid of 12 minions, 12 enemy, and no worries, didn't drain you much other than one spell.
My first spell is something that normally you wouldn't think is overpowered, but we'll be discussing that a little bit later. Tensor's Transformation, where you take this is a wizard spell. You cast it on yourself and turns you in from a bad melee character to an okay melee character. Now, there is ways to really overpower it, and we'll have a full video on another overpowered build that uses Tensor's Transformation. But otherwise, your wizard becomes basically having 2 attacks. You can, get more hit points and actually do some damage physically, when normally you would not be able to do that with a normal wizard. Obviously, there's the Blade Singer, and there's a whole bunch of ones that could actually use it. But there are a few that are just out there that really do some damage, and we'll be discussing that in that other video. So look for it soon.
What this spell should be called is Captain of Death Serum. That's what.
I mean, the key benefit is also advantage on every attack. Yes. That is huge.
My first spell was called Eye Bite. Eye Bite is concentration. It lasts for 1 minute. And the beauty of this spell is, other than the fact that it targets wisdom as a saving throw, is you have a choice of 3 effects. One is basically a charm. Another is, actually no, sorry, it's a sleep effect. One's a panic or fear effect, which causes the target to run away. And the third is the ability to sicken someone, which basically gives them disadvantages on attack rolls and ability checks. The reason now by itself that sounds okay. It's a pretty good spell, but what really sold me on the overpowered aspect of it is that you could switch to another target every single round. So technically, you could hit up to 10 targets with this. Or if the target fails a saving throw against one of the effects, you can keep targeting him with another effect. So make his life really miserable. However, if they make a saving throw successful, they're immune to the effect for now. And the other downside is if somebody is immune to charming, it doesn't work. But other than that, that's very few and far between. So that's my first spell.
My second spell is going to revisit Tensor's transformation. So some technical aspects on the spell. It is a concentration spell, a duration of up to 10 minutes. You can only cast it on yourself. And what it actually gives you is, it gives you 50 temporary hit points, which is nice. You have advantage on all attack rolls that you make with simple and martial weapons. It does specifically say that. When you hit a target with an attack, that target takes an extra 2d12 force damage, which again, fantastic. You have proficiency with all armor, shield, simple weapons, and martial weapons. This one is a little weird because it's, all right, I'm going to have armor stowed away for when I cast Tensor's transformation on myself.
How long does it take you to wear armor as a wizard?
Yeah, a long time.
They have Iron Man. They have the Iron Man nanobite armor. You know, you press the button and it activates.
Artificers.
You can only do that as an artificer, and artificers, I tried. I can't get an artificer to cast this. You could do it at level 20, but it's not worth it. And the next thing is you have proficiency in strength and constitution saving throws, which is fantastic, because whichever character you're going to be doing this with, you're not going to have strength and constitution as your main saving throws already. And you get a second attack instead of one. The problem is any build that you would actually use this spell for, you're already going to get 2 attacks, which means that this is the most useless portion of this spell. Immediately after the spell ends, you must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or suffer 1 level of exhaustion. And again, this is only on the wizard spell list. Because it's only on the wizard spell list, it is difficult to use, but I found some loopholes, but we'll talk about that later.
It can be cast on a scroll, Captain. You can use it on a scroll.
And about the artificer, can't he make the armor and give it to somebody? He doesn't have to wear it.
No. If you want to do that, you have to specifically be the armorer. And again, we have videos based on that. I'm currently playing an armorer. It is fantastic.
Right. So my second spell is Word of Recall. It's another traveling spell, but its casting time is 1 action. And if the overpowering legendary monster that you're fighting is just too much, you give it the finger, do the Word of Recall, and go away.
My second one is Disintegrate. Now, this is a sorcerer and wizard spell. Takes 1 action, 60-foot range, and basically does force damage on a failed save of 10d6 plus 40. Now, if the person is reduced to 0 hit points, they're disintegrated and become fine dust outside of their magical weapons, which just fall to the ground. That's it. You're done. You basically need a wish. I think it's only a wish.
True resurrection, yeah.
Or true resurrection, which is, I think they're both all 9th level spells.
Yeah,
and it's basically goodbye for you, for anybody that gets disintegrated, which is pretty powerful for a 7th level spell.
Best part.
Very powerful for a 7th level spell.
Yep.
All right, my the second spell is called Mental Prison. It's from Xanthid's Guide to Everything. Now, this is an interesting one because I would like to target abilities or use energy attacks that have very little chance of being resisted or immune to, because that's going to be important. Every round is important at high left levels. So what this does is you make an intelligence saving throw. Obviously, not too many classes have intelligence as one of their saving throw choices. And if you succeed, you take 5d10 to the face, psychic damage. Okay. If you fail, however, you still take 5d10 psychic damage, plus you are effectively restrained. And you're surrounded by illusions that you can't see through, or you can't hear through. And you're surrounded by fire or razors or horrific illusions. And if you are moved, if you try and move through there, although you're restrained, but if someone like moves you somehow with, I don't know, maybe a shove or telekinesis or something.
There are several good ways to do it.
Yeah, or if you try to attack it or try to reach through it, the spell ends and you take another 10 psychic damage. That one has, I don't think it needs saving throw on that second one. No, you don't. You take that damage and the spell ends. So if you fail this, you potentially take 15d10 psychic damage, and you could be immobilized for a while you're restrained anyway. And I like to take that little addendum. This is no spell that if you're immune to charm, doesn't work. The other spell, I might forget about the charm part. I was mistaken in that one. But that's a spell that I figured not many people would use, and it's concentration up to 1 minute, so you can effectively immobilize somebody or at least stop somebody from moving around. And the price they pay for escaping is 10d10 to the face.
That's a lot of damage.
Actually, 10d10 to the mind.
It's the face. It's that.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, as per with a lot of spell levels, there's one spell that kind of stands out. And 6th level definitely has that spell that kind of stands out, as all 4 of us have picked as our final spell, Globe of Invulnerability. Now, Globe of Invulnerability as a player is fine. It's fine. You cannot be affected by 5th level or lower spells cast outside of a 10-foot radius barrier around you. The barrier remains around you for as long as you're concentrating. It's concentration up to 1 minute. And the great part is, it means also that the creatures next to you can also not be affected by 5th level or lower cast spells from outside the barrier. This is great. As a player, it's okay. But what really shines, where it really just takes off, is when you have it used on a boss. You have an 11th level boss, you're fighting against a 9th level party, and they literally have no spells higher than level 5, which means all of their spells are completely useless. However, they have weakened Globe of Invulnerability from previous editions in a few ways. First, a spell that's cast from inside the barrier still works. So if you just run up to them and cast, you're okay. The area within the barrier is excluded from the areas affected by such spells. Such a spell also, 5th level or lower, can target creatures and objects within the barrier, but the spell will have no effect. And the best part about it is, that we do need to remember, is that you can't just upcast to get over it. You can't say, my fireball will hurt you. Nah. Well, I'll up it to 6th level and then hurt you. Nah. It still doesn't work. But like I said, bosses is where it comes into play. Because you just go, I throw all of the things at you, and the boss just says, you're funny. And at higher levels, you cast it at 7th level, it blocks 6th level or lower spells. You cast it at 8th level, it blocks 7th level or lower spells. It just keeps getting one better. So as long as the boss is just a little bit higher level than the party, spell casting just doesn't work, and it makes it so that you can do things like word of recall on that boss and have the boss say, I'll get you next time, and things like that. It's a great way to be able to have the boss get away and not have to explain to your players that it was just DM magic. Other comments, please.
No, I think you summed it up quite well.
Pretty much. It's a scaling and vulnerability up to, even if you're 20th level, you'll only have 9th level spells that can affect them. If he casts at an 8th level spell.
Exactly.
And of course, there's this wonderful counter spell just waiting in his wings, like, ha ha! And it's more likely to have more counter spells than you have 9th level spells. just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for a boss, this is fantastic. Now, do remember, if you cast a spell, like as an example, you cast Tensor's Transformation on yourself, and he has a 7th level version, the spell will still work because your spell is still, it's not affecting them, it's affecting you and then going in and attacking. So as I said, it's not as powerful as a Global Invulnerability has been in previous and other editions. It is still very strong, but it makes it so that those ranged wizards, and if you have a party of ranged, bombers, you're just not going to be as effective as you would be normally.
Definitely.
And not effective meaning like non-effective.
Yep. So that's pretty much our spells for 6th level. Please leave a comment. Please like. Please subscribe. Let us know what other videos you would like to see. We're doing this series because people keep on requesting different Overpowered requests. So we're doing the spell series. And watch out for, the preview that we gave for that Overpowered Tensor Transformation user.
Combination.
So this is Boris from Board and Save It.
I'm Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Jonathan, and we'll see you guys next time